Welcome back to Narrations. Tonight's story is about taxes, multiverses, kung fu, googly eyes, and a mother who doesn't know how to tell her daughter she loves her without criticizing her first. This is Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's about regret, about infinite possibilities, and about choosing kindness in a universe that feels meaningless. Evelyn Wang is drowning. Not in water. In details. The laundromat machines are breaking down again. The tax receipts are disorganized. The IRS audit appointment looms like a storm cloud. Her husband Wayman keeps taping googly eyes onto things instead of focusing. Her father, Gong Gong, has arrived from China and watches everything with silent judgment. And her daughter Joy is distant. Evelyn moves through the laundromat like someone juggling invisible weights. She rewrites receipts at the kitchen table late into the night. She mutters under her breath about wasted time. She tries to organize chaos with force of will alone. Nothing feels enough. Joy wants to introduce her girlfriend Becky to Gong Gong properly. Evelyn hesitates. Not because she doesn't love Joy, but because she fears her father's disapproval more than she understands her daughter's need to be seen. So she introduces Becky as Joy's good friend. Joy notices. Of course she notices. The wound is small in the moment, but it is not new. The day of the IRS meeting arrives. They stand inside a bland, gray government building. Fluorescent lighting hums. The auditor, Deirdre Beauberdre, is clinical, unimpressed, methodical. She lists their financial inconsistencies calmly. Penalties stack. Evelyn feels the walls closing in. And then, something fractures. In the elevator, Wayman changes. His posture straightens. His voice deepens. He tells Evelyn he is not her Wayman. He is from another universe. He calls himself Alpha Wayman. He explains, rapidly, impossibly, that the multiverse exists. That infinite versions of Evelyn exist. That somewhere in another reality, she made different choices, became a martial arts master, a movie star, a chef, a singer. In this universe, she chose to marry Wayman and run a laundromat. In other universes, she became extraordinary. Alpha Wayman says she is the key to saving the multiverse. Evelyn stares at him. Because this sounds insane. But then the world shifts. Suddenly, inside the IRS office, people begin fighting with movements that defy logic. Security guards attack with improbable choreography. Deirdre becomes something larger, more dangerous. Evelyn discovers she can verse jump. By performing absurd actions, eating chapstick, professing love to a stranger, causing herself embarrassment, she can access skills from alternate Evelyns. She becomes, briefly, capable of kung fu. The action is chaotic. Unpredictable. Ridiculous. But beneath it is something far heavier. Alpha Wayman reveals the true threat. Jobu Tupaki. A being who experiences every universe simultaneously. A being who can access all realities at once. A being who created something called the Everything Bagel, a literal black hole of nihilism, formed from experiencing too much possibility. And Jobu Tupaki is joy. Or rather, an alternate joy. In another universe, Evelyn pushed joy too hard. Demanded too much. Fractured her mind by forcing her to verse jump repeatedly. The pressure broke her. Now she exists everywhere and nowhere. Dressed in wild costumes, shifting between personas in seconds, bored by existence itself. She has seen every possible outcome. And none of them matter. Evelyn resists the idea. Her joy isn't a cosmic villain. Her joy is just tired. Frustrated. Hurt. But as realities blur, Evelyn begins slipping between them involuntarily. She sees herself as a famous actress walking red carpets, never having married Wayman. She sees a version of herself running a hibachi restaurant with a raccoon controlling the chef. She sees a universe where people have hot dogs for fingers. The absurdity builds intentionally. Because the multiverse is not meant to feel elegant. It is overwhelming. And in every universe, there is one thread that persists: regret. What if she had stayed in China? What if she hadn't married Waymond? What if she had been braver? More disciplined? More successful? The laundromat life feels like the least glamorous branch of infinite possibility. And Jobu Tupaki stands at the center of all of it, exhausted by meaninglessness, inviting Evelyn to join her in the everything bagel and let existence collapse into nothing. Because when everything exists, nothing matters. The chaos crescendos. Evelyn's mind fractures under the weight of infinite versions of herself. Memories blend. Skills collide. She begins to understand Joy's despair, the suffocating awareness that every choice exists somewhere else. The IRS office becomes a battlefield of existential absurdity. But beneath the multiverse spectacle is something painfully simple: a daughter who feels unseen. A mother who only knows how to motivate through criticism. And a gap between them that has widened across infinite possibilities. The multiverse begins collapsing inward. Evelyn can now access every version of herself without needing absurd triggers. Memories crash into each other. Languages merge. Skills overlap. She feels the weight Joy described, the suffocating awareness of everything happening everywhere all at once. And in the middle of it all stands Jobu Tupaki. Dressed in costume after costume, shifting personalities mid-sentence, bored and omniscient. She has already seen every possible argument. Every possible reconciliation. Every version where Evelyn fails. Every version where Evelyn wins. And because she has experienced infinite outcomes, she feels nothing. The everything bagel, literal and symbolic, hangs in the void. A black hole made of everything. Every flavor. Every possibility. So full it becomes emptiness. Jobu invites Evelyn to step into it. Not violently. Calmly. Because if nothing matters, why fight? Evelyn feels herself leaning toward the logic. She has seen the glamorous versions of herself, the movie star walking a red carpet in a universe where she never married Waymond. In that universe, she and Waymond meet again as strangers, both successful, both dignified. And for a moment, she believes that life was better there. She believes this laundromat life was a mistake. But then something unexpected interrupts the chaos. Waymond. Not Alpha Waymond. Her Waymond. He stands in the IRS building amidst the wreckage and says something simple. We have to be kind. He is bruised. Overwhelmed. Completely unequipped for multiversal combat. But he refuses to respond with aggression. He tells Evelyn that he fights not with fists, but with empathy. That in a world where nothing makes sense, kindness is the strategy. It sounds naive. Until Evelyn tries it. Instead of defeating her opponents with martial arts alone, she begins seeing their pain across universes. The security guard who feels lonely. Deirdre, whose life is structured and empty. Strangers who carry invisible weight. Evelyn shifts from attack to compassion. The action sequences transform. She doesn't defeat people. She heals them. The absurd universes continue to flicker. Hot dog fingers, raccoon chef, singing Evelyn. But now each one contains small emotional threads rather than spectacle alone. And then comes the quietest, most devastating universe of all. The rock universe. No dialogue. No humans. Just two rocks on a cliff overlooking an endless canyon. Subtitles replace speech. In this universe, Evelyn and Joy are rocks. Because if everything is absurd, why not this? And in that silence, Joy, as a rock, expresses the exhaustion of existing. The weariness of trying. The relief of non-being. Evelyn's rock rolls closer. She doesn't argue philosophically. She simply says she still wants to be here. Even if it's meaningless. Even if it's small. Back in the primary universe, Joy stands at the edge of the everything bagel. She doesn't want to destroy the multiverse. She wants to stop feeling. She tells Evelyn she has felt alone in every universe. That no matter where they are, the pressure remains. Evelyn finally understands something she has resisted. Joy doesn't need to be fixed. She needs to be accepted. Not as a project. Not as potential. As she is. Evelyn stops trying to pull Joy away from the bagel with force. Instead, she says something radically simple. I'm learning to fight like you. Not with power. With release. She tells Joy that even if nothing matters, she still wants to be here with her. Doing laundry. Filing taxes. Eating together. Not because it's grand. Because it's theirs. Joy steps away from the bagel. Not fully healed. Not magically optimistic. But no longer alone. The multiverse settles. The IRS office reappears as itself, fluorescent, ordinary. In the aftermath, Evelyn sits across from Deirdre again for the tax audit. The paperwork remains messy. The laundromat still struggles. Nothing materially has changed. Except Evelyn listens differently now. When Joy speaks, she doesn't correct her first. She pauses. She introduces Becky properly to Gong Gong. She stops filtering her daughter through fear. The final moments return us to the laundromat. Machines hum. Receipts stack. Wayman smiles gently. Joy lingers near her mother, not completely reconciled, but present. Evelyn drifts for a moment, her mind still capable of sensing the multiverse. Infinite lives exist. Infinite regrets. Infinite possibilities. But she chooses this one. Everything Everywhere All at Once is not really about the multiverse. It is about the unbearable weight of expectation between generations. It is about a daughter crushed by infinite possibility. And a mother who finally realizes love is not pressure, it is presence. In a universe of everything. Sometimes the bravest choice is to stay. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this narration, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next story.